Good morning, Juventini, and good morning, Omar and Anthony. How's everybody doing this morning? Another Juventus match day.
Yay, let's go.
Living the dream out.
Go.
Glad to be here. I missed a couple shows, but to the listeners, obviously that was a good thing because too much of me is too much, I think.
Yeah, we had a good little mix there for a couple shows, and Anthony's back in the mix, Omar back in the mix, and we've got some guys kicking it off right out of the bat. Alex, buongiornata,
Boy,
buongiornata, Luca, good morning. Luca saying, why is the start time being pushed? Tell the dial up dingback to eat his Nutella sandwich faster. Anthony, were you having some Nutella?
We like to keep things transparent as much as possible, but some things need to stay in the green room. So Luca, I'll get you back for that one, buddy.
Nice. Well, we got Juve Zenit. Obviously, we had a couple of bad matches, which kind of turned the feeling for many Juventini recently. But we tried to kind of set people back on course and trying to kick it up realistically where we should all be and whatnot. And I think highs and lows are expected during any rebuild, especially ours. Our own Principino put it very, very nicely in a little interview about having to commit to rebuilds, and you're gonna have to ride those lows out if you want to make that next step. And there's been a lot of talk about coach and change, all this, and we'll get to our thoughts on a few little key things that come up over the past few days. But yesterday was Juve's 124th birthday. All right, and a fantastic tweet I thought that I put out was just hearing everybody's story that follows the account on Twitter. We're at about 4,500. We got a big response, and it was fantastic to hear all the different stories on what drew people to Juventus. So, obviously, without going through massive list, I thought it'd be fun if we shared ours. So, Omar, I'd love if you kick us off and tell us your story about how you fell in love with Juventus. You're muted, my friend. I'll
sorry,
unmute you.
sorry. Yeah, I wrote it in the tweet you posted. But back when I was a kid in the '90s, we had like one channel who had sports on it, and so Champions League night you get one game. So it's usually the best teams in the world. And back then, Juve was always on. And then I watched the '96 final. I was a kid, like 7 years old, and I really loved what I saw. I really loved Juve. Of course, I was a kid. I liked the best team in the world. That's how any kid falls in love with a club. And the following year I was just trying to follow and everything. And when the second final came in against Dortmund, that's when I was really bummed when you win. That's when I realized that I'm a fan. I love this team. And it's easy to say, I love them because they were the best. But if you do watch this team play back then you can understand why we can relate to that team, the grinta, the stuff beyond just winning. Like I can understand young Barca fans who grew on the Messi era. There's a lot to love about this team, except for the winning and everything. So I never turned back.
There you go. There you go. Anthony, your story?
Well, with three older brothers, you're just born into some things. Something you just don't have a choice. So, but for me, as a young kid, well, the stories that Omar was just telling, I was in late high school during those games, so I really remember those Champions League finals. But it was when this guy took off right here. Can you see that? Boom.
Yeah.
When we signed Baggio in it was '89, and he came in the '90 season. That's when it just took off for me. So been around a long time, a lot of highs, a lot of lows, but it's you always got to stick with your lady even in the bad times, boys.
There you go. There you go. Yeah, for me it was same thing. You're just kind of born into something. It was my dad, but I didn't actually discover it until one morning at 3 a.m. when I finally decided to go see what all the commotion was about. Because that's the time most games would take place back then for us. And he would be roaring in the living room. He would be calling his friends at 3 in the morning our time, and it was funny because he'd be watching it, he'd be yelling along with the television, but then whenever he called his friends, his voice went even louder as they were discussing this match and just whatever the uproar was, the controversy, the call, or anything. And my mom just finally would lose it. I finally woke up one morning. I was like, I gotta go see what's going on. Sure enough, Juve's playing, and it started with Baggio, and eventually, when Del Piero was added, Del Piero had me hooked, and those two guys were key catalysts for me just falling in love. And then watching my dad celebrate the 96 Champions League was probably like the greatest thing ever. And from there, rest is history, boys.
I don't think I went to high school the next
beautiful
day.
Stuff.
I think I took the next day off of school. Can't remember. But it was
Yeah. Now, without further ado, we have a match today against Zenit. The second one. Played them a few weeks back. Champions League, Juventus is 3-0. So, done well to do that. This one solidifies the qualification for the knockouts. We've got a bit of issues in the Serie A table. 2 games got away from us, one to Sassuolo, one to Verona. The Verona one we knew was going to be very, very tough. A lot of questions being asked of Allegri right now. He calls a retiro. Okay, so they go back to camp. They're together for a week till Saturday. Number one, your guys' thoughts on the retiro. How do you feel about it personally? And there's a lot of shouts about Allegri out. There's a lot of shouts about player quality and everything. Just want to get you guys to summarize kind of how your personal feelings are currently right now with everything that's going on Juventus. And we'll start with Anthony here.
Well, Allegri brought up a lot of good points in his presser yesterday, and I think we'll touch on those as the show goes on. But specifically to your question about the retreat, could be a good thing. I never really followed the behind the scenes Serie A too much, until maybe a couple of years ago. So I don't know how common these retreats are. I know Napoli already did it this year. I believe Lazio did it as well. We'll see what comes out of it. So this is, I think the retreat. I hope the retreat is taken as seriously by Max as it is by the players, because if he just comes out with that stagnant 4-4-2 that we talk about behind the scenes all the time, what good did it do, right? Yeah. I thought Danilo had some great responses yesterday, pretty standard for someone with a captain stature. The 2 losses, I know I wasn't on the pods and you guys were giving me a little bit of heck there in the bleachers over the weekend, but Verona was 4 bad minutes. It was 4 bad minutes and, a lot of disjointed play, but we weren't overrun. So I don't think there's that many problems. I think we still have a good enough team to be in the top 4. I'll reserve my comment as to what I think about the Scudetto race until Christmas. But top 4 is definitely still achievable. Champions League still achievable for next season. I don't think it's as dire as people think. Like, just got to plug a couple spots and we'll see what we can do in January. I'm not people saying Allegri out. I'm sorry, but they're a bunch of idiots. I have not seen that. And if that is happening, I don't agree with that at all.
Yeah. Omer.
The Ritorio thing, we had it back in 2015 when we had a bad spell and it turned out good. I don't know how effective these things really are. Like, back when I was in the army, if you had 2 guys fighting, then you tie them together for an entire day and make them just do everything together. And it always solves everything. So maybe that's the point of it, sit down, talk about everything, say what's on your mind outside of the press and everything. It might be good. Time will tell. I haven't been in any of those situations ever. The Allegri out rumors, I think, I don't know, no reason for it. I don't see any reason for it. I think it's just a bit of a drop off with a lot of injuries coming from the international break, and we have another one coming up, and everything was good up until that point, and everyone came back. Quadrado and Sandro came drained, absolutely drained after it. So I wouldn't put it all on tactics and the players themselves, but it's been 3 managers and things haven't changed. So you might need to start wondering about what's really the problem here. Okay, management first place, there was a poll and they won. But some of the players are just, not up to par with what we come to expect and appreciate about Juve. And it is a tough time to get rid of players, like Rabiot and Ramsey who just sit there, but they are part of the problem. Everyone currently are now part of the problem. That's how they at least should look at themselves and at the club and give much more than they do. So hopefully this retreat will help them do that. But time will tell. I don't want to jump ahead and say it's going to work wonders or not work at all.
Yeah. I think for me, in terms of the Allegri out, obviously highly, highly reactionary. However, because we like to cover everybody's angles and everybody's opinions the best as possible, would his job come into question at any point? Like, what is the actual measuring stick, so to speak? And the only way you could really think about this the best is if his philosophy doesn't come through, or if his philosophy just becomes outdated. And I think that's the biggest thing with these people that are Allegri out. When you actually listen to the arguments, it's not so much the results, it's not so much what's going on in the table and all that. Deep down, when you actually break it down for them, the ones that are able to hold the discussion and have a good constructive conversation about it, it's that they just believe his philosophy is simply outdated and that he won't change to the modern game. And I actually, to be honest, that's a concern. And I think that's a legitimate concern for those that feel that way. The ones that say Allegri out just on a string of results, that's where I don't agree with you. But the ones that have legitimate concerns about his philosophy and whether he'll change, I can get behind that because I'm starting to question it. I am starting to question it, and I hope that we'll see that change. My fear with the Retiro is that Max still believes that this thing is all mental, but it isn't all mental. And I think you could see that clearly in certain matches. And again, I think he needs to start playing to this team's strengths. And I think he needs to stop focusing so much on what others are going to do to us and what we can do to them. So I think there's a bit of everything going on. And I can honestly say I understand the concerns in philosophy and his approach. 2 years away from the game, so far we haven't really seen anything change as far as approach and everything like that. And that's just, I think that's a fair concern.
He did say in his presser a couple times. He says, I know Eric summarized it beautifully in our chat, so I kind of want to highlight this one because it stood out for me too. Was we talk about the problem, but we need to find the solution to the problem, and the solution is to work and shut up. So that, I don't know if he's telling the reporters to shut up or if he's telling some of his players maybe behind the scenes, you guys got to stop all your yipping and do some work. I kind of I like that comment. It's casts a bit of light as to what might be going on in the background a little bit.
Yeah. And again, I'm saying it's legitimate to be concerned with his philosophy and everything like that, but it's far too soon to make a call right now.
Mm-hmm.
It's far too soon to make a call right now. The other thing is too, things can change dramatically throughout the course of a season. So we saw Verona make a call with Eusebio Di Francesco 4 games in. Tudor comes in. He's doing well so far, but I still say 4 games is such a brash decision. And you had 3 clubs in Serie A make that decision after 4 games. When you look at Juventus, we've had 3 manager changes in 3 seasons. Marchisio, again, a great interview that come out today. How on earth is that not disorienting for players? The players involved.
Mm-hmm.
And then again, I shed a light on Pirlo last season. Not because I'm saying Pirlo needs to come back, because I'm trying to prove a point. And the point was, he had certain guys that are struggling this year, thriving last year. And now this year they're struggling. They need to find their rhythm under this manager, under this game plan and whatnot. So changing this all the time. And again, the question came up, Conte. Conte is now the new manager for Tottenham. But the question was asked and just said, Juventini, would you take Conte back? And not just the name Conte, but another manager. This is how I see it. And this is how I've seen the past few years. You fix one issue, you open up another one, possibly two. So at some point, you have to give the guy working enough time to patch everything up, to try and shore things up. Sometimes you can only do that with transfer windows. But if you want to bring managers in continuously and not give them transfer windows, it's not just going to fix itself overnight, and you're not going to fix all the holes. That's how I honestly feel.
And I've told you guys
that too.
I've said it over and over again in our group chat. It's next summer. We have to wait till next summer to see some real change around here. So we're riding a big whale. You're on the back of a big whale. It's going to be sinking and coming up and down. So get ready, because I don't see a lot of help coming in January. Maybe a player, maybe, but it's really going to be Allegri's transfer window next summer. So buckle up.
Yeah, well, there's always the arguments and the counter arguments to letting a manager go in the middle of the season. Okay, so Milan let go of Andrea Azzoli and brought in Pioli, and 2 years later, look at them. And Inter fired Gasperini in November or October, and look what Gasperini did since and what Inter did since up until the last Scudetto. So I'm not a firm believer of this method. You need to let him work. Sir Alex Ferguson, the greatest manager ever, probably hasn't won shit in his first 6 years at Man United. If it was today, he would have been sacked after one, maybe 2 seasons, and there goes your history out the window. So patience is key. You have to let young players, give them time to evolve and become certain players, and you need to let the manager do his job and judge him afterwards and not before. It's November. There's still 28 games left for the season. Let's talk back in May about firing him and see where we stand there.
Let's talk back in December first.
Yeah.
I think we're going to have a good November.
Now,
there's an international break, so
we're going to bring this one special for you. Okay. We got everybody's feelings on Retiro, Allegri, and all this, and it's going to take time, obviously. I see some of the comments in the live chat here. Even Eric Cavalier, were those players thriving under Pirlo, or because of Pirlo, or in spite of Pirlo? Pirlo is not the issue. That's the whole thing. People are missing the point. It's the fact that the players we're saying are not of quality this season were thriving last year. So that's the point. Has nothing to do with Pirlo, and people continue to kind of miss that. It's just the fact that I fail to believe, and I do believe to some degree we're missing traits and whatnot, but to say these guys are not quality when you're losing to teams that are significantly less quality than the players you have, questions have to be asked, right?
And Alex and Allegri in his presser yesterday gave those teams the I mean no disrespect, and then absolutely dumped all over them, which is kind of funny.
It is kind of funny.
Yeah, I think Pirlo's tenure was just nothing was organized in the team, and we have a lot of players who thrive in chaos, like Cuadrado and even Chiesa and Morata, players who run forward with their head down, looking at the ball, and it played to their certain type of traits. But now with Allegri, who plays a very rigid tactical game, it gets tougher for these guys, and they need to find the way to integrate them into the tactics of Allegri, because Pirlo was an entirely different type of managing a club.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Bikram Jeet says, if you look on a graph, we're on a decline from last 4 years, especially since we signed Ronaldo. We were a completely different team before that. Yeah, there's many, many theories on that, and I think mentality is a big part of that. And when your own players, a leader nonetheless, and we've highlighted this many times, Bonucci, one of the leaders of the team, specifically says the over-reliance on Ronaldo. You've taken away that strength of ours that was there for a decade, and that was the team. Everybody playing for the team, giving everything you had, playing your role, sacrificing all that. And when you have an over-reliance on one guy, that dynamic changes. I also think we had a couple issues regarding Ronaldo where the team kind of lost a piece of its identity in order to cater to him. I don't think we were built to have a guy of that he's in a stratosphere, like he's on his own planet, and we were just not prepared. Anthony, you want to touch on this?
I think people need to move on here. Like we're
Yeah.
talking about, where's our midfield from 2015? Like I don't even remember what I had for breakfast yesterday. Like get over yourselves and move on. This is the team we have now. This is it. Complaining about what happened 4 weeks ago makes no use. Just we have a game today and a game Saturday, and that's how you got to move, even in your own life, or else you're just going to give yourself extra stomach acid. Just Marquisio and Del Piero, they're gone. Who cares what they say? They can say all they want. They're pundits. They're on TV. That's their job now. Just move forward. Like people who put in a lot of weight onto what like Fabio Capello says, like who gives a crap? Like that's the kind of stuff that really gnaws at me. I try not to let it get to me, but just move on, man.
I only care what Cassano has to say. The
Yeah,
brilliant Cassano was achieved
real quick,
so
we
much.
got to get to this Rovella Hive, and it's coming. Rovella Hive. The rumors are now circulating. They can make a private deal to pull him back in January. This is gonna be unpopular with our AJC team, but I would say I wouldn't do it in January.
Nope.
For me, and I know, and I'm big on the Rovella Hive, and I think I was making shouts at the start of the year. You can make the argument to came back. Of course, you can make the argument to bring him back in January as well. But I think he's got a good thing going right now. He's in rhythm. Just let him keep going. He's not going to make a drastic difference to this team for the second half of the season. It's not going to be big enough to the point where we need to kind of disrupt what he's got going on now. And again, I'm a massive Rovella fan, but let him keep cooking where he's at, and let's really evaluate things, because people continue even saying next summer, even like Anthony said, it's this summer coming up. Be prepared for a struggle for several mercados. Okay. The debt is astronomical. It's right there in front of all of us. And if we don't finish in the Champions League spot, that will also hurt it big time. Okay. And again, moving forward, you've got to pay for some of these guys where you've offset payments. So it's going to be tricky. And yeah, it's just, there's also some looming issues below the surface on some transfers, and 42 out of 63 being investigated are with Juve on price inflation and everything like that. So that's a very interesting story happening, below the surface that we'll have to keep tabs on. But you guys, your thoughts on Rovella, bringing him January? I know, Anthony, what you're going to say. So we'll just go to Omar.
I'm not jumping on that train yet. We don't know where it's going to. And he has a good thing going on at Genoa. So why bring him into our squad where there's players who earn a lot more than him and will probably play because their agents are pressing for them to play, and the management might be pressing because we're paying this guy 7 million a year, not for sitting on the bench. Rovella is in his zone right now at Genoa. That's where he needs to be. That's where a young player needs to develop, in smaller teams where he gets all the games as possibly can and not just sitting on the bench to let others play. Bringing him to Juve right now, someone wrote it here in the comments, Andra Patiasina. And I totally agree that no reason to call him back now. Let him have his full season with Genoa, judge him by the end, and then we can bring him back. He's ours, so no rush. He's a young player and he has a long career ahead of him.
Yeah. Bobby coming in here with give Morata a shock treatment in his a mild, healthy one, but plug him in. Bringing Rovella at January is a stupid decision. He's going a great momentum, and Juve should not interrupt that. In terms of Mercado, Alex, and I'll be happy and consider the Mercado successful if we can move Ramsey, Rabiot, and Weston in summer or January. So again, It's and we've got a question here. What's the truth in Pogba? I'd love to see Pogba back, but I don't think it's happening. Of course, things could change, but I highly, highly doubt it. Would love to see him back, but no.
So I
Now-
know I get a lot of battles with the Ravella Hive, so they're gonna look for me to comment on this. Fully agree with what Omar's saying. I'm not gonna, but here's a little piece of advice when people don't quite understand sometimes. The best learning, one of the best learning experiences you can get is to be with an organization or a company that's in a deep downfall, and then you're with the company on the way back up because you learn to grow, you learn how to build something. Now for me, Ravella's in a situation now sort of similar. He's on a team that's fighting to not get relegated. Now that kind of mentality that he's going to learn there, that battle week in, week out, is something you want him to do all season. So what the hell is the point of bringing him in January where he's just going to sit on the bench behind Arthur and Locatelli?
Yeah.
What is the point? I don't have anything against the kid. Probably a nice kid. Probably good to his grandmother. But what's the point in bringing him in January? Let him learn. Let him get his playing time. And then we'll see him in June.
Let him keep it going. Yeah, I agree. And but he is gonna, I think, eventually make his way over, and I'm excited for him.
The good thing about him is that the good thing about him is that we already own him. So even if we won't make the Champions League, God forbid, then we know he's on the roster for next season, and we don't need, because other players might change their mind of coming in. But he's a lot.
We'll make Champions League. Don't worry about that.
We'll make Champions League. I'm not worried.
I think
the worst case
it also
scenario
highlights something that, again, going back to what we were talking about at the top with Allegri, one coach just changing completely everything. One player doesn't completely change. Like, it's all going to come together. The manager and the players. We need to start giving a manager transfer windows. Okay. The problem as of late has been that the transfer windows are not going to be as effective as they would under normal circumstances, because we are in a situation that we have to climb out of. So you do want somebody experienced. You do want somebody that can maximize what he has and get the best out of him. That is the part right now that Allegri hasn't done so far, but I wouldn't expect it this soon. But there are concerns there, but I don't expect it this soon. Going to take time for him to work with everything he has to really get the best of it and figure it out. He had a little string there, went a little sideways here. He's got to get it back on track. The Retiro, hopefully an eye-opener for some guys, but question remains of some of our players and some of our characters if they're cut for to wear the stripes. And that's been a concern for a while because we haven't necessarily worked the way we used to way back in the day where you signed the man. We got away from it. We were doing a bit of market opportunities and patchwork, and that's not the best. Now, moving forward, in terms of all this, it just shines a light that one player doesn't come in and just change everything. Cristiano Ronaldo was a perfect example of that, and it's just it highlights everything perfectly. The team, as many in our live chat has said, gradually got worse. We gradually got worse. Here we have one of the GOATs of the game, and we got worse as a team. And yeah, that's an eye-opener. So calling for any player, any elite player to just come in here and change things dramatically, I don't see it happening. Does it help? Sure. But a lot of it comes from the coach, the other guys. Like, it's always a team. It's a team game. Always has been, always will be. You have to put it all together. So with that, we get into this match. Let's start focusing on Juve Zenit, because I agree with Anthony. You got to take it one day at a time, one match at a time, and continue to build and see what we have.
I'm not just a good haircut out. Let's go.
Sorry?
I'm not just a good haircut.
Well, I don't even know if you're that, but let's go. Let's get into some trivia. We played these guys a couple of weeks ago, and here we go. Rather than doing the history of the fixture, since there's only been 3, we're going to test how good your memory is. So Anthony says he can't even remember what he had for breakfast yesterday.
No idea.
We only played them a couple weeks ago. So How many subs total did Juventus make in that game? We'll start easy.
Omar, I think it was only 2, buddy. I think Allegri screwed it up. He's oh man. Did he only... Sorry, how many players or how many
How many substitutions did Juventus make in that first match against Zenit?
I'm gonna say 2. Wait, what kind of a question is that? That's a good question, Mo.
I
2?
think I'll go with 4, but the only one I can really remember is Kulusevski. I think there's been 2 more in the midfield. De Chilio swapped wings, so probably there was a right back who entered, Quadrado maybe. I think 4.
Okay. Well, so far the live we've got 5, 3, 4.
Yeah,
Luca
there aren't
coming
many
in with 5,
options.
got it right. There was 5 substitutions in that
Okay,
game.
so you were saying players, not subs. Okay, all right, I misunderstood. I thought how many times he used subs, like he
yes.
sent guys
How
in
many subs
twice.
Players. Yeah.
You play. Okay, I wouldn't have got 5. I would have said 2.
How many
didn't-
cards were distributed in that match for Juventus and total?
Oh, come on. I don't check those stats. I
I
go with 3.
3
I'll-
total or 3 for Juventus?
3 for Juventus.
And
How
not
many
gonna-
total?
I'm not gonna look at the chat because the chat's usually pretty good at this stuff. I'll say there was 1 for Juventus, 2 total.
There was 2 for Juventus and 4 total.
Oh,
So
I was
both
going to
teams
say
got
7.
2 yellow cards.
I was going to say
Who-
7.
What?
Okay.
What minute did we score the winner?
84?
86.
85?
80, 87.
I'll go with 85.
87.
You guys are hilarious. It's 86.
86.
That's what I started with.
Give me the goal score. It wasn't a
Kulusevski.
question, but we got to get you guys rolling.
The man with no soul.
Kulusevski.
Kulusevski. Who did Kulusevski sub on for?
Who was it? I believe it's
Did he-
Morata. No,
did he come
Keane
in?
came in.
Keane came in for Morata. That's right.
Morata, probably, let's say Chiesa.
Quadrado.
Maybe Quadrado.
Final answers?
Quadrado.
Chiesa.
Kulusevski subbed in for Federico Bernardeschi.
Mm,
Oh, and the big Bandizi came in too late to help you guys.
yeah.
You know the big
well-
banana. He whenever he comes in, that guy's money. Whoever the big banana is,
It's
I
Bandana.
was- I was
That's
going-
so funny that you call him Banana.
every time.
I was
No,
going
he's
to say
actually-
Federico.
yeah, whoever that is, you're pretty good at the trivia. He's always money. He's always money.
Should have said Federico. Would have covered 2 possible scores.
Okay, let's go really easy because you guys got to finish off with 1 right. So who gave? This wasn't even going to be a question, but who got the assist on the Kulusevski goal?
The Lord.
That's right. I was hoping he pronounced the name correctly. It's Lord De Chilio.
Lord
the Lord.
Chilio. All right, fantastic boys. Fantastic. Boys.
I'd go to church for him.
Now, before we continue on, in preparation of a pretty light trivia, Omar took the time to put together a more broad trivia, and it's fitting since it was Juventus' birthday yesterday that we do something with a little more outlook and hopefully some positive memories for everybody. So go ahead, Omar.
Okay, so I thought I'd make one for the past decade, which probably everyone who listens saw and experienced. And in these bad times, I wanted to bring back some fond memories. So it's general questions about the last decade. We'll start off with the easy ones and move on to the harder ones.
I'm gonna need a lot of help from the bleachers here, boys.
Yeah,
and
let's get
girls.
the live
Yeah.
folks ready for this one. And by the way, thanks for all the positive feedback on trivia. I know that like I always get the comments on people are like, keep the trivia going. We love the trivia. So yeah, you guys ask for it, we'll give it to you, right? Tactical breakdowns, no different. If there's content you guys want to see, let us know. Omar, fire away, my friend.
Okay, so who has the most goals in the past decade? And when I say decade, I mean from 2010 to 2019.
The most
19,
goals.
20. Yeah.
Most goals.
So most goals, regardless of, I know he joined in the middle of it, but I'd have to say it was Dybala.
Wait, I'll have to point out something. This stats
No.
doesn't include the Super Cup and the Coppa Italia. It's Champions League and League.
Well, didn't Ronaldo have more goals than Dybala?
Final
So-
answer.
Yeah, I think
Yeah,
I'll
CR.
go with you on that one. Oh man. Well, it's not Tevez. Higuain.
But what did he finish at? Because Dybala just added a few, hey? It's Cristiano, Higuain, Dybala. Tevez wasn't around long enough.
Yeah, he didn't score that many. I'd say Dybala.
Okay, then you're both right. Dybala with 87 goals. Ronaldo had 31 goals last season, which is new decade, so it doesn't count. He's on
There we go.
64. Higuain with 60.
Mass.
Tevez with 47. Mandzukic with
Yeah.
41, and Vidal with 46. Those are the top scorers. Now, most assists.
Most assists.
in a decade. Pogba's going to have a lot.
Yeah, I think quads climbed up tremendously.
Yep. Marquisio, no, he didn't really.
No, because Pogba was sitting at 5th all time or 4th all time. Like he was high up there. What did Quadrado just hit 60 something?
Look at the big banana says Pirlo. That's a good shout too.
That's actually a decent shout. I feel like lately though, Quadrado just skyrocketed.
I'm going with the big banana. I'm going Pirlo.
I'm not gonna do that, and I know I probably should.
Okay, then.
Hold
Let's
on.
pick one out.
Oh, wait.
Al takes this stuff way too seriously. Come on, Al.
I'm going quad.
Okay, then you're all wrong. The top one is Dybala with 39. Quadrado had like 13 last season, but once again, a new decade. So it goes Dybala with 39, then Quadrado with 35, Pirlo 34, then Pjanic with 34, Pogba 28, Marquisio 28.
Quadrado, you ruined me again.
Well, it's that decade change. Screwed you up. You had a big season last year,
Yeah.
All right, here we go.
Here's an easy one. Who's our defender with the most goals?
In the decade.
Yeah.
Is Lichtsteiner considered a defender?
Yeah.
Wing backs are considered defenders.
I'll go with the Swiss Express. I'm gonna go with Lichtsteiner. Bonucci does have a bunch.
He had it in 15 though, right? 1960. I gotta go Bonucci.
And Bonucci is the right answer with 25. 25, then Chiellini and Sandro joined second with 14, and Lichtsteiner with 13.
Man.
And next
Big
question.
Bonucci.
Back in 2012, 2013, we had joint top scorer this season with 10 goals each. Who were they?
Sorry, what year?
2012-13. Second country.
Tevez? Or was he already gone?
Vidal was one. Vucinic?
Al, right on the money with Vidal and Vucinic.
Would never have gotten that.
Vucinic and hey, some good guesses in there too. Animesh, Vucinic, and Matri. Tevez was a call. I don't think Tevez was around there.
Tevez wasn't there yet. The top five are Vidal, Vucinic, Quagliarella, Matri, Jovinko. And
Jovinko, nice.
Next one. Which season did we had most wins, which is a Serie A record, and how many?
Well, the undefeated season, most likely. 2015?
The undefeated one had way too many draws.
It had a lot of draws in it, yeah. There was a season there that we won 30, wasn't there? 31.
We won what?
31.
Is that your final answer?
I think
But
it
you
was,
you want the year, right?
Yeah. The
didn't we
season
have a
happened and then-
33 win year?
Was that 2016?
I'm not going to help you. You're gonna have to give me a
We're not
final
asking for your
answer.
help. We're just talking out loud. Omar, leave us alone.
Okay.
Like what? Come on, man.
Okay. I'm turning off my videos because I have a bad poker face. I'll come back when you decide.
I'll say yeah, 2013-14.
2013-14 or was it 14-15? Allegri came in. 14-15 team was unreal.
I'll go with Namesh. He's around a lot. He probably has the Google machine working. I'll go with Namesh, 2013-14.
Yeah, well, I was gonna guess 14-15, so one of those years. I'll go 14-15.
Okay, so the right answer is 13-14.
And
There you
Namesh,
go.
my man.
The 102 points. Come on, it's Serie A record. It has to be the most wins. With Osvaldo scoring that winner against Roma, if you remember, and 33 wins total.
There you
And-
go. 33 wins total. I knew it was 33 wins. I got the years. I went ahead a year. It's okay.
Yeah. Two more questions. When it comes to sales, you've bought a lot of players for a lot of money, but who did we sell for the most money? And I want you to give me the second spot because the first one is obvious. Nothing comes
Pogba.
close to it.
Yeah, Pogba was the biggest sale.
Pogba is obvious. Who are the next top sales in the past decade? Don't give me Zidane or stuff like that.
Top sales. Who the hell did we sell? We got rid of a lot of guys. I don't remember selling
Okay.
anybody.
I'll
In the
extend the
past
branch to
decade.
you. I'll extend the branch to you because it's a pretty weird one. It includes deals that involve trades, like the estimated player value.
Oh,
Was Vidal up there?
Do you
I have
want an
no
answer?
idea.
What?
I have no idea.
Do you want an answer? I'm not
Yeah.
going to give you the answer.
There's no way. Pjanic? Oh, the Cancelo deal. That was a that was a
Cancelo
big
could
one.
be up there, yeah.
With Danilo coming back.
Maybe it was Cancelo. That was a big,
Yeah.
big value one. Obviously, one of the ones being investigated, but Cancelo?
Yeah.
Okay, so you agree?
Yes. Yeah, we're
Cancelo is the right answer.
There
Cancelo
we
for
go.
65 million euros, then Pjanic for 60, Bonucci to Milan for 42, Vidal for 39, and Caldara
Bonucci.
for 36. And
did we
Yeah, the
pay to get
Bonucci
did we
one
pay to
is
get
probably-
Bonucci back? We sold him
I
for
don't
40. Do we
remember. I think we
Or
gave
did
them
they say, hey-
Higuain in return, or Caldara was involved in that deal in some way.
Oh, right. Yeah,
Sorry,
that's right.
Man,
Okay,
Okay.
last question. Last question.
Okay.
How many times in the past decade have you won with more than 4 goals, not including 4 goals?
More than over 4. So over
Yeah.
4.5. Well, there's a 7-0 against over. So 5 or more. I would say we've done it 9 times in 10 years.
Yeah.
7.
9 times.
9 and 7. Sorry, but you're both wrong.
It's 8.
5. It's 5.
Five.
We had a 6-1 win against Pescara in 2013.
When it, yeah.
5-0 against Fiorentina in 11-12, 7-0 versus Parma in 14-15, 5-0 Sampdoria 15-16, and 6-2 against Udinese in 17-18. And that's about it. So if you're going to tell me you fell in love with Juve for goals and attacking game 5 times in 10 years.
You fell in
5
love
times.
5 times. Should have trusted the
Yeah.
chat, man. Antonio, Animesh, and Bikramjeet all came in with 5 right off the hop, and we chose to ignore the live chat at the worst possible time.
Yep.
Oh man, hey,
That was awesome, Omar.
fantastic trivia, fantastically put together there, Omar. Now,
Wasn't easy.
It's not. I trust me. I understand it isn't, man. Good for you.
Take everything with a grain of salt. My source was Wikipedia and who scored. So no,
Yeah.
might just spitting bullshit here.
Juve Zenit, we've got our projected lineup. Szczesny, Danilo, Bonucci, Delict, Sandro, Chiesa, McKennie, Locatelli, Bernardeschi, Dybala, Morata.
Mhm.
Thoughts on the lineup? What you guys expect out of this match? And yeah, let's kick it off with that. And let's go with Anthony.
Is that the keys of the game or what we expect?
I want your keys to the game. What you think? You're going to see out of Juventus. How you feel about the lineup and
That
just
that
everything.
that's our Champions League lineup, man. That's a lineup that should be, I think, is more than enough to get 3 points today. I believe 1 point gets us through to the next round as well. I don't quite understand how that's possible, but I read that somewhere. But anyways, we're going to go for 3. We're at home. I see this going quite similar to the first game. For me, the real keys are the first one is Zenit smells blood in the water with Juventus, right? Zenit's coming off of 2 big wins, 11 goals in 2 games. I think, they see Juventus losing 2. It's almost the reverse of the last game. We were coming off 2 wins. They were coming off 2 losses. So early focus is going to be the key. On the flip side of that, early goal is going to be the key. That was something that Juventus did a lot early in the season. I think we need to get that first goal in the first 20 minutes to really set the tone. And then the midfield structure and aggression. I think we lost some aggression, and Allegri touched on that about the Verona game where they had 22 fouls and we only had 8. So, stop the early mistakes, score the early goal, and let's crank up the aggression. This is the lineup I think that can do it. And we see somebody's putting a lineup out there? Yeah. There's no excuses today, man. I think people are trying to make excuses for this and that. We have a good enough team for a top 4, and we have a good enough team today to finish off the top of this group. So,
yeah, Omar, your thoughts on that projected lineup? What do you think about this matchup?
What I expect Juve to do, or what I expect would happen? I expect Juve to win.
Give us
big.
both, then. Give us both.
I expect Juve to win big with 3 goals. What I expect to see on the pitch is 1, maybe 2-0. I don't think Zenit are good enough. Their biggest strength is playing at home, and we already won there. Not so conveniently, but we did. The lineup should do it. I'm just glad to stop seeing Rabiot on the sideline running with Sandro, because that part of the pitch is dead. I don't want to see players looking for fouls, because that's what I saw in the past few games. Morata, Cuadrado, just looking for the fouls instead of trying to actually play football. And if Caio Jorge was available, I wouldn't even let Morata play, because he's on a stinker right now, and it just doesn't deserve to play, in my opinion. That's been the main problem. A lot of players who don't deserve to play and proved it on the pitch still gets the nod. But it is what it is. I think it's a strong enough lineup. McKennie, outside of Locatelli, weirdly has been our best midfielder, and Arthur not enough. So it's the best we can come up with. Bernardeschi definitely deserves to start, and better than most players who started in the last games. And I expect a big win. I doubt it will happen, but we will win, in my opinion, and secure that spot. It's a good injection of money, qualifying for the next round. And actually, I'm kind of shocked we have a perfect start to the Champions League season. 0 goals conceded. Don't even know how much we scored, but it's weird. It's in complete contrast to what's going on in the league.
Yeah. So we got a lot of comments coming in here. Antonio saying keep Berna and Chiesa high up and wide. This will pin them back, allowing Loca and West to arrive into the box and contribute. The problem with that is if you're going to go 4-4-2, you cannot simply put both of them high and wide, because you're only going to leave Locatelli and McKennie in there in the midfield. And we know Zenit will play the same game that they played previously. And why would they stray any differently? Because Juventus struggles in possession. This is the problem if you want to use McKennie in a 2-man pivot. We struggle with possession at the best of times with guys who are supposed to be mainstays in that midfield. So this is the thing. If you look statistically at the last game, Zenit finished close to us in terms of shots total. I believe they sat somewhere around 12, 2 or 3 being actually on target, but it paints a different picture than what actually went down, because a lot of their counterattacks literally came from our own errors and blunders. Does that sound familiar? It should, because we see a lot of that. So this lineup for me, if you go in a 4-3-3, would make the most sense, but obviously more of a 4-3-1-2 almost, keeping Dybala back. You do want Chiesa up top. You want him playing close to Morata. Chiesa can almost go to either wing. You don't have to worry about the press against Zenit because they naturally fall into that low block with their setup. The tendency they have to do the most is to absolutely collapse in tight into their area. This leaves openings for your fullbacks to get up the pitch. So rather than taking Bernardeschi and Chiesa and keeping them out wide, I would much rather make them force that defense to collapse, get into the strong points, and then it makes sense to have a guy like McKennie in the lineup because he's our best aerial attacker, right? Have Dybala around there to clean up garbage, top of the area, Locatelli. Keep those guys back once you get the ball deep, but try and create some havoc in that way. And you have to play close as a forwards because of the fact that they collapse. So if you want to go with a straight 4-3-3 and keep those guys out wide, it's going to be a long day at the office against a low block. So even if these guys are winning 1v1s, you would much rather attack this team by sending numbers. And if we look at our goal that we scored against them last time, because we sent numbers and forced them into 1v1s in the area, and Kulishevsky was able to take advantage. So that's the key to the game is, honestly, we're going to have to commit to the attack. What we have to do is be very, very sharp in possession. So Bernardeschi, there was a comment earlier about how he can help. Absolutely, he will help because he's much more versatile than who we've been trying to use as an outside mid. He has the ability to give you everything in all phases of the game. So he will make a big difference. But again, it's all up there for us to take this game. It's no different than the first one. We just have to limit mistakes, and Zenit will struggle. If we continue to give them opportunities, they showed in the first one, they do have some players that are very, very dangerous. They came very close on 2 attempts there. For us, we just have to be sharp in possession, but we cannot be afraid to commit men forward. You're going to have to do that. If we see the same Zenit that we saw previously, which I fully anticipate since they did it at home and now they're away, they collapse with everybody. Okay, they literally left Zuba all alone up top, and we kept 3 at the back, and our fullbacks weren't able to take advantage of those corner areas and get the ball deep and then look for the trailing pass or a cross or whatnot. So I think if we play with pace and we attack the space that we're given, we would cause them all sorts of problems. And these are common themes of what fans have been asking for and we haven't been seeing. Play with pace, quicker crosses, not labeled, not slowing things down, quick tempo, and attacking space. We need to attack the space that's there. Far too many times, I broke it down in the tactical breakdown too, we're opting for shots from way out against Zenit when there is the opportunity to work the ball around quicker. But again, it comes down to attacking space and recognizing that. I'm very curious in seeing how Max adjusts this team in the second time facing them. Because honestly, with all due respect to Zenit, I know they're top of their league. They score a lot of goals in their league and whatnot. It hasn't translated over to Champions League. They've only got, I think, 4 goals in Champions League in 3 games so far. Score a lot in their league. They're at like 38 goals in 13 matches. We need to take it to them. This is one we should seal the deal and be able to, make some rotations and move along. It shouldn't be any different than that. Chiesa,
they have 4 goals, Al. 4.
So they got 4 goals in 3 matches in Champions League. So it hasn't translated over because they're shelling up against their opponents. The only ones they didn't were Malmo, and that's the game they scored all 4 of their goals. Just so you guys know, it was a 4-0 win against Malmo. They haven't scored against Chelsea. They didn't score against Juventus, and I don't anticipate them scoring today. All right. So anything you guys want to touch on out of that before we get into everybody's favorite, the predictions, and see who can take us on in that? Shouldn't be hard. I haven't been strong at all.
All I gotta say is, what the hell's going on? Because normally I'm the one talking like that, and everyone's all fire and brimstone in the comments. But now everyone in the comments is 3-0, 2-0. Okay, we'll get to the predictions, but okay, I'm glad to see everyone's finally on on the same page as me.
I'm going to look for a movement off the ball. I think it's been lacking for a while now, and just look at that goal, the first goal against Verona. Arthur with the ball, no one is opening passing lanes to help him get out of it, and it's been a problem. Players are waiting to receive the ball to their feet and just standing still most of the time. I want to see a lot of movement off the ball to at least open some options for passing, because right now the game is pretty rigid, and the same thing happens. You go right, you go back forward to Locatelli, back to Szczesny, trying from the left, doesn't work, and so on. I want to see a lot of movement off the ball. I think that's the key, and that's what's been missing the most.
We have 5 goals. Somebody asked how many goals do we have? 5, but we have 0 against.
Yeah. Now, there are some comments coming in here. Eric coming in here with, I want to see Berna play centrally and help link up, let Paulo stay forward and threaten goal. So, yeah, it's kind of one of those things where if he's playing out of the midfield, yeah, I mean, then you're holding back McKennie, and McKennie's bigger strength obviously is going forward. He's decent. He's good defensively as well. But again, him technically is not up to the level of Bernardeschi. So you kind of want Bernardeschi controlling things still in that midfield alongside Locatelli. Paulo staying up, I agree. And I kind of agree with this whole thing that he's on, because you want to force them to collapse. It'll open up spaces out wide for us to take advantage as well. As far as carving them up and going through them, very, very difficult. I think we only had the one through ball last match. It was that beautiful one, though, from Morata to McKennie, who I think he should have buried.
The goalie saved it off his shoulder.
Yeah. So, yeah, I think I agree with that. You do want to play a little bit narrower and force them into that, because it's just going to collapse them. John Stewart coming in. What do you guys think of 3 in the back moving forward? Danilo, Bonucci, and De Ligt.
That question was asked at the Allegri presser.
Yeah.
Same thing.
Well, what do you guys think? For me, 3 in the back, we end up allowing our fullbacks to go up a little further and be safer in terms of coverage. The midfield, I assume we're going to go 3-5-2. So you're going to still have your 3 midfielders and whatnot, and then you're going to have your 2 forwards. I'm not against it. I just think depth-wise, it's not our strong suit, like just as far as the depth goes. But what do you guys think?
Before Omar gives his very, very smart answer, I'll give my dumb one. I don't think we have. I think that when you play 3 at the back, you need to always play 3 at the back. It's kind of a setup that you don't want to kind of go in and out of. For me, from my knowledge of playing football, at the back, you don't really mess around with it very much. If we play 3 at the back, I would say you stay with it. But that's not Max's approach. He likes to always have 4. I think it causes more confusion, more disruption to play when you start flipping to 3 to 4 to 3. I don't think it'll work.
Yeah, it's tricky because I don't think we have the luxury to start trying new things right now. But the thing we did try obviously didn't work that well. I know the lineup that I want to see does include 3 center backs, and with either Danilo or Sandro even. But if it doesn't go well, we can sink even deeper, and it takes time to know each other and to know how to work as a unit in a certain formation. Don't think the 4-4-2 is any better, but there are formations that I tried before that.
Yeah. Again, if I look at just the team depth, who we have, I'm thinking a variation of the 4-3-3 all day. Like in my mind, it's just that's the way I would play this team. Peter coming in here saying, I think with the team in Retiro, we're looking at either an abysmal performance or an absolute barnstormer. I can't see any middle ground here. Dull 0-0 or maybe a tight loss, or we win 3 or 4-0. I can feel that. I can feel that. So without further ado, and I know some people were getting their predictions in right off the hop, and we had 1-0 scrappy fight, and 2-0 Morata Dybala, 3-0. We got 1-1. We got 2-1. We got a 0-0. Not optimistic of winning today.
I'm writing that down, KM.
3-0, but seems like 1-1. Well,
KM00. That has been recorded. Smartass.
let's get to our predictions. So we're gonna kick it off with some of the tiebreakers. Okay, so let's just get some of the little things out of the way. Possession split. Let's start with that one. I'm gonna go 59% Juve. Juve will get 59% possession.
Omer?
64 Juve.
60-40? You guys are crazy. 50.
No.
He said 64%.
So, good thing I got the erasable pen. Holy, that's a lot. I'll go 56%. 56.
You said you guys are crazy, and you bumped me down 3%.
That's right. That's a lot.
I said 59. You're like, you're crazy. I'll go 56.
Well, 64. Like, come on, Homer. Bad day at the office.
Okay. First yellow card. Which team? What minute?
Omar, you're first.
Omar, you're first.
Zenit, 25th minute.
You guys love those 20s, eh? I'm going to go Zenit, and I'm going to take this one right out of Al's book because I'm going before him. 36th minute.
Bastard. That's my minute. Everybody knows that. Damn. Juve, 39th.
You love those 30s, eh? All right.
Yeah. Now.
Oh.
What else we got? Offsides total, Juventus. I'll kick this one off.
No, my turn. It's total offsides for Juventus. I'll say 6.
You're crazy. You're crazy.
Well, with Morata, everything sounds reasonable. I don't know. It could happen.
We had 5 in the first half the last game.
No, we didn't.
Mm-hmm.
Against Zenit? Yeah, last game against Zenit, we got 1 total because they got a low block. I meant I'm going 1, just so you know. 2, 2 total offsides.
6 is a lot, isn't it?
That's
I'll
crazy.
go with 4. 4.
So good. Okay, total shot attempts for Juventus and how many on target?
Al,
Oh, I hate that one.
I'm gonna go with. In terms of Mr. Balistreri there, who said it's either going to be dull or an absolute barnstormer. I'm going with the barnstormer. All right. I'm going to say 14 total attempts, 6 on target.
Oh, that's a good number, man. Homer?
I'll go with 11, 5 on target.
Terrible. I think Al already won this one. 14-6. I'm gonna play the prices right. I'm gonna go 15 and 7.
19 shots, 4 on target from Animesh. That is some low conversion.
Absolute shelling. Animesh is calling for a shelling.
12 attempts, 5 on target. Big Bandeezy.
I'm writing down the
shots, 13 on target. Take it easy.
The big banana predicted 4-0 too, right? So I'm writing his down. 20 shots,
10 shots, 3 on target. Okay.
If he is correct, he should be a guest of the next pod.
Yep.
Yeah, I think we got to get the big bandana in here if he's gonna nail these ones. That's wild. If we get 20 shots, 13 on target, I'm retired.
He can take my spot.
Yeah, I'm gone. Now, halftime scores. Who's up here? Omar, I think.
Omar's up.
1-0 Juve.
1-0.
1-0 Juve at the half.
I will go I'm going to say 1-0. I'm going to go 1-0 as well. I'm going to go 1-0 as well.
2-0 at half for Juve.
Yeah, it's. I don't see. I think we can all agree we don't see it being 0-0.
No.
I really don't see it.
Drinktastic's going 0-0 at the half. He doesn't trust any of us.
Full-time score, I will go 2-0.
I'm going 3-0 for a total.
Damn, that was mine.
Yeah, I didn't want to let you have it before me.
No, not
You
yours,
always
Anthony.
do that.
Yeah, but Anthony's, I thought it would be too good. But you know what? I'm going on a limb here. I'll go with 4-0 Juve.
Holy, him in the
Ooh.
big bandana, drinking too much avocado juice this morning.
Now
You
goal
should try
scores.
it too.
Goal scores.
Who's this one? Omer?
Well,
You got
so
4.
Yeah, I think Dybala twice. It was a threat throughout all games. Just a bit of luck, and he had more goals. So Dybala twice. I think Chiesa one, and don't want to say a name, but some defender is going to score.
Well,
Someone
if
from
you're
the back
picking
line.
4, I think I will give him that one. A defender. I'll give you that.
Yeah, you gotta
All
meet
right.
me halfway.
Whatever. I'm going to win it all anyways.
So I had 2-0. I'm gonna go Dybala with 1, and I'm gonna go with.
I just want to point out I'm losing faith in the big bandana because he called 4-0 and only named 3 goal scorers. So it's all gone for shit.
Well, it could be an own goal.
Oh, okay. That's good. I'm gonna go Dybala and McKennie today. I'm writing those down for the big bandana.
I'm going Dybala, Chiesa, McKennie. Your 3 goal scorer.
If Big Bandana gets that right, he gets to host the next spot.
Hey.
And an own goal.
Maybe he could take your spot, Omar. Take it easy.
He probably would. I have to be working.
All right. So the last one.
Oh, sorry, Al. Your goal scores. I didn't write them down.
Is going to score twice. There you go.
Sorry, Al. I missed your goal scores. I was writing down the big bandanas here.
McKennie, Dybala, Chiesa.
McKennie. Okay.
And last, who will you choose for your way too early man of the match prediction for Juventus?
Well, I had Dybala with 2 goals, so let's stick by it.
Damn. I think it's going to come down to this tiebreaker. I think Dybala is obviously. I think he's going to get it, but I'm going to go with 2-0. I'm going to say. I'm going to go with. I'm going with Bernardeschi. I really hope he has a good day today. I'm going to try and give him some love. Need him to have a big day.
Other days you don't expect him to have a good day?
I want him to have a good day.
Mr.
Okay.
Dybala for me.
Yeah.
It will be Dybala.
I think it will be too. But
Dybala is the one catalyst throughout this period and these 2 matches that continues to show up. Yeah, he's had moments where he's faded in matches too, but Dybala will be the guy today. I expect him to take advantage and punish them. But long shot, outside shot, McKennie for me. McKennie might be a guy that could really, really turn the screws to Zenit here today. Guys, ton of fun today. A lot of fun. The live was a blast. We covered a lot of different topics. I mean, we started off breaking into the news surrounding Juve, getting everybody's thoughts and feelings. Had a lot of fun with the trivia. Fantastic job by Omar, prepping some decade of dominance trivia. And then, finished off getting ready for this match. So, again, main key point, 1 match at a time, everybody. Be patient, remain calm. It doesn't happen overnight. And even if you look at the decade of dominance, that didn't happen overnight. Okay. It took us a long time to get where we were. And even at the beginning, nobody expected it. Nobody expected that season. And the one thing I can remember when I go back to that 2011-12 season is watching each match and them always exceeding my expectations, and that feeling is incredible. So all we need to do is be realistic with ourselves, adjust your expectations, and start enjoying football again. And I know it's tough when the results aren't coming your way, but let's not just put them as should be champions every time, because you know what? The league's gotten stronger. Everybody else is coming up. And yeah, we've got a lot of work to do, but start enjoying the matches again. Start looking at the positives and give this team time to build. Okay. We can reiterate the mistakes that we felt the teams made and everything, but it doesn't help us moving forward. So let's take it one match at a time. Let's face Zenit today. Let's hope that they come out with an absolute barnstormer. Word of the day from Peter Balistreri. I believe we're going to see it. And let's carry on from there. Guys, last thoughts before we sign off with all our wonderful Juventini joining us.
Like the video. It takes 2 seconds. Here, we're going to take a moment, pause for a moment. We're all going to sit silent while everybody here goes and likes the video. Go do it now.
Yes.
Thank you. And be a friend. Tell a friend.
There you go. There you go. Omar, finishing thoughts?
I want this to be a turning point of the season. I hope it will be. But one game at a time, enjoy what you can while it happens and not in hindsight. It's much more fun. So let's go. Let's kick Zenit's ass and see where we end up next week.
There you go. Hashtag storm the barn. Let's go, Juve. Okay, everybody enjoy the match. I believe it's going to be a barnstormer. We're going to be back tomorrow morning, same time, 5:30 a.m. Pacific Standard Time. We're going to recap this one, hopefully celebrate a barnstormer. All right. Forza Juve, Fino alla Fina. Like the video, subscribe to the channel, and share it, everybody. Let's continue to grow this wonderful community. You've all been great. Enjoy the match. See you tomorrow.